Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome back to the D1 Audible Cheat Sheets. Canopy management is about how the vine's shoots, leaves, and fruit are organized in space and why that organization matters. At its simplest, the aim is to help the vine intercept light efficiently, reduce shading, and create a uniform microclimate so grapes ripen evenly. But behind that simplicity sits one of the most important quality levers in viticulture: vine balance. A well managed canopy allows the vine to photosynthesize efficiently, ripen its fruit fully, stay healthy, and repeat that cycle year after year. Light is the starting point. Leaves exposed to sunlight photosynthesize more effectively than shaded leaves. A canopy that is open and well organized allows more leaf surface area to intercept light, increasing the vine's capacity to ripen fruit. It also reduces shading within the canopy, which has direct consequences not just for ripening in the current year, but for yield potential in the next. Remember the compound buds. Buds that develop in sunlight are more fruitful. Buds that develop in shade tend to form vegetative structures rather than inflorescences. This links back to the vine's natural behavior in the wild. Fruit is prioritized when the vine reaches open, well lit spaces. In vineyards, good canopy exposure therefore increases bud fruitfulness and supports future yields. Sunlight exposure also influences grape composition. Greater exposure increases sugar accumulation through higher photosynthesis. In black grapes, it enhances anthocyanin development and increases tannin levels while also promoting tannin polymerization, reducing bitterness. Warmer grape temperatures increase malic acid respiration, lowering acidity, particularly important in cool climates. Exposure also increases favorable aroma compounds and precursors, such as terpenes, and reduces methoxypyrazines responsible for herbaceous aromas in varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon. But more light is not always better. In warm or hot climates, intense sunshine and high temperatures can cause sunburn, damaging grapes and reducing quality and yield. In these conditions, canopy management is often about selective shading, protecting fruit while still maintaining airflow and photosynthetic efficiency. This brings us to disease pressure. Dense, shaded canopies dry slowly after rain or morning dew, creating ideal conditions for fungal diseases. Poor airflow also makes it difficult for sprays to penetrate the canopy effectively. Opening the canopy improves air circulation, reduces humidity around bunches, and lowers disease risk, often allowing fewer chemical interventions. All of this feeds into vine balance. Vine balance is the relationship between vegetative growth, shoots and leaves, and reproductive growth, fruit. A balanced vine can ripen the maximum amount of fruit to the desired composition without exhausting itself. Before veraison, the vine prioritizes shoot, root, and storage growth. After veraison, resources are redirected toward the fruit and shoot growth slows naturally. This leads to a more open canopy, better ripening, and improved bud fruitfulness for the following year. Problems arise when the vine is out of balance. If the vine is undercropped, too little fruit for its vigor, shoot growth continues unchecked. The canopy becomes dense and shaded. fruit quality suffers, and bud fruitfulness for the next season declines. The vine can enter a self perpetuating vegetative cycle. If the vine is overcropped, too much fruit for its vigor, it draws on carbohydrate reserves stored in the trunk and roots. This weakens the vine, compromises ripening, and reduces performance in future years. The correct balance depends on the environment. Warm, fertile sites with ample water can support vigorous vines and higher yields. Poor, dry sites produce low vigor vines that must carry smaller crops to ripen fruit successfully. Variety, clone, rootstock, vine age, and disease status all influence vigor, as does intended wine style. For example, vines grown for rosé can carry higher yields than those grown for structured red wines where tannin ripeness is critical. Yield itself must always be understood in context. A vine is balanced at different yield levels depending on its conditions. Yield per hectare depends not only on crop per vine, but also on planting density. High density vineyards can achieve high yields per hectare even when individual vines carry small crops, a strategy often seen on expensive land, like Bordeaux. Many regions regulate maximum yields per area, meaning excess fruit may need to be removed or left unharvested. Canopy management techniques are the tools growers use to maintain this balance. Some decisions are fixed at vineyard establishment: vine density, row orientation, training system, and trellising. These choices must reflect expected vigor, site topography, and mechanization needs. Low vigor vines can be planted closely to maximize land use. High vigor vines need more space to avoid overlapping canopies. In dry regions without irrigation, low densities may be used so roots can spread widely in search of water. Row orientation is often north to south to balance sunlight exposure, but afternoon heat, prevailing winds, slope, and machinery access can all influence the final decision. Training, pruning, and trellising shape the permanent structure of the vine. Vines may be head trained or cordon trained, low or high trained, depending on frost risk, wind exposure, heat retention, and labor considerations. Head trained vines have minimal permanent wood and may be spur or cane pruned. Cordon trained vines develop permanent horizontal arms and are typically spur pruned, but they take longer to establish. Winter pruning is one of the most influential canopy decisions of the year. It determines how many buds, and therefore shoots and bunches, the vine will carry. Vigorous vines are left with more buds, low vigor vines with fewer. Pruning choices directly set the potential yield and strongly influence vine balance. Spur pruning is simpler and often mechanizable. Replacement cane pruning is more labor intensive and requires skill, but it allows greater control in some situations. Trellising systems support and position shoots. Untrellised bush vines are simple, cheap, and provide natural shading, making them suitable for hot, dry regions. But they limit mechanization and perform poorly in vigorous or wet sites. Trellised systems allow shoots to be spread out, improving light interception, airflow, and mechanization. Vertical shoot positioning is the most common and works best for low to moderate vigor vines. Highly vigorous vines require canopy splitting systems, either horizontally or vertically, to reduce shading and maximize light interception, though these systems are more complex and costly. Finally, summer pruning allows in season adjustment. Techniques such as disbudding, shoot removal, positioning, pinching, trimming, leaf removal, and crop thinning fine tune vine balance and ripening. These interventions can correct uneven growth, improve airflow, enhance ripening, or manage excessive yields. Timing matters. Poorly timed interventions can reduce yield or expose fruit to sunburn. Taken together, canopy management is not about a single technique. It is about aligning vine structure, vigor, yield, and environment so the vine can ripen fruit consistently and sustainably. For the exam, always link canopy choices back to light, airflow, vine balance, grape composition, and long term performance, not just how the vineyard looks. And that concludes chapter 6. I do hope this helps, and I'll see you at the next episode.